All right, guys, what's going on? It's Nitten in with 2x KO's closed beta out and even ranked mode hitting about 2 hours ago at the time of this recording. It's a really exciting time to be getting into a new tag fighter for the first time in a while. And there's going to be a lot of people coming to this game, with it being free to play, being by Riot, that haven't played fighting games before. Or if they have, they've done so very casually. And maybe now's the time they actually want to come through and sweat. So there's been a lot of discourse online ranging from this game is super duper fun, I'm having a blast, and some people are thinking it's way too hard. And while I think the game definitely has a very big skill ceiling, very high skill ceiling, I should say, it's definitely not something that you can't overcome and have a really good time, even in ranked mode. If you've played different genres before, if you've made the jump from one genre to another, you know any new competitive genre is going to have a lot of new intricacies and difficulties and things to learn that may not be super obvious, or maybe they're a little more obvious, kind of depending on the genre. So I put out this tweet a couple days ago asking you guys what's been bothering you the most, what's been causing you to get losses, what's felt oppressive, what do you feel like you just can't find an answer to despite however much you grind. And we got a ton of replies here, basically 100 of them, and we're going to be going through some of those today and getting you guys answers to those solutions so you can hop into ranked and have a great time and hopefully climb faster than you were before. So let's hop right into it and see what we can do. All right, so as you can see we have a couple tweets here from Bumboa and Edelin, and there were a bunch of others in the replies. People are looking how to deal with Vi. And Vi's definitely one of the stronger characters. She has really good ground movement with her sway. She can sway through projectiles, really good buttons on the ground. And while we're not going to go over every single part of her kit and how to deal with it, I want to go over a couple of her more straightforward block strings that you're going to be seeing a lot at lower to mid level while you're learning the game and how to deal with them, especially if the Vi is not mixing up their game plan. You can totally shut them down with a few different answers here. So what we're going to do is do the sway light into the heavy. And when the Vi does this, if they're doing it on loop, you have a pretty easy solution to deal with it. You see the jump, you just hit down H for an anti-air, and you can get a full combo off this as well. So you see there, I even did it really late, and I'm still able to get a punish here. And I'm not going to do a full crazy combo, but you get the idea. You can just go full on into a launcher and get your whatever combo you want there, depending on your character. And it's a really good option. And the nice thing about doing this rather than doing a parry, which I guess I'll demonstrate the parry as well, just as an example here. If I'm not terrible. You know it's coming. You can just kind of watch for that jump. And you get the same thing here. It's going to be a little more scaled, but it is an option if you want to do it. It's a little flashier as well. And you're going to start your combo on the ground. So depending on the character, there could be some benefits to that. But the reason parry's not going to be the best option, especially when you're first getting started out, is you're going to have to be able to recognize whether she's mixing up her game plan or not. And if I get close enough at the start here, you'll see the same thing. And then she goes into the charge heavy. Now, if I go for the parry again here, like the normal timing, that's going to whiff because the charge heavy delays it and it gives her the ground bounce. It's going to be really valuable for her to make you whiff a parry, you lose a meter, and then she can get a full extension off that. But if you go with the simpler solution that I showed at the start, just by using your anti-air, even if she delays it, you still get that same punish. So this kind of covers both. If you know they're going to go between the sway heavy, uncharged, and charge to try to mix you up a little bit, down heavy is going to be your answer, whatever your anti-air button is, if in the future there's characters that use different buttons. I know Blitzcrank also has a back heavy as an anti-air. That's totally an option as well, and it's going to be really beneficial for you. And the other main option you're going to be dealing with for Vi is really just if she goes for the sway grab, which we'll kind of demonstrate here. So she could go for sway into command grab and get a full combo off that. I know that's something that's going to cause a lot of people trouble. If you know it's coming, you can jump back if you want to play it super safe. This could get you away from assist follow-ups or whatever it may be. Or if you want to try to get a punish on it, you just jump, neutral jump. And you can get a full extension from that with Ekko. If I wasn't bad at the video game, you can kind of go into your full combo here, right? Right. So another option for that situation as well, and this is kind of what I was talking about with those layers. The Vi could go for the regular uncharged heavy out of the sway, could go for the charge heavy out of the sway to mix up your parry timing, or if they know you're going to be playing keeping that in mind, using the anti-air button, they could just go for the command grab and catch you before you can do anything. So definitely something to watch out for. And you're just going to have to recognize the opposing player's habits and punish that out accordingly. That's kind of the magic of fighting games. There is some rock, paper, scissors elements to everything here, and you're not going to get a universal answer to everything. Or when you can do that, it's going to be very rare, and usually those types of situations are going to be patched out of the game. But I definitely recommend just implement this in your game plan to start and see how far that can take you, because it's going to be a common point of pressure for Vi's. And you'll get a lot of reward out of that. And we'll actually see another Vi situation here later on for another tweet. Let's actually get into that now. All right, so shout out to Michael here, who asks how to parry some obvious champion abilities. The example he gives is Darius S2, S2, and we can definitely take a look at that in a second. But while we were just working on Vi, I might as well show you a good example for a Vi parry that you can get a lot. And obviously we talked about the sway heavy. You can try to react to the charge or uncharged version. It's gonna be a little more of a read, generally speaking. But if you're looking out for it, you can react to those with parries. But one of the options Vi's may use at lower levels against you is the following, which is going to be her S2 button. So as you can see here, without mashing, it's going to be about that short. And if you know it's coming, if I can stay on the same side here, that's a free parry every single time. And there are some answers to the situation. The Vi can call an assist behind them to cover that, mix up your timing a little bit. But the nice thing is that's not going to open you up generally. That's just going to keep it a true block string. And when you're in a true block string, aka there's no gap in the pressure where you're still in blocks, or you recover from block stun before the next attack comes, then you can't parry in those situations. You're just going to be locked into blocking. So you kind of don't lose anything by going for it. If you do get it, you get a good punish here. And the same exact thing is going to come into play if the Vi chooses to do the mashed version. And there you see, definitely, it's going to feel a little tight to react to that, honestly. And but if you know it's coming, it's definitely reliable. I'd say lean a little on the earlier side if you're struggling to get it with that parry timing, but definitely doable, and you'll get a lot of reward out of that. But let's check out the Darius example to show your different options in that case as well. All right, so with the Darius example, we can start with the S2 here, S2 into S2. It's going to be probably the most straightforward parryable follow-up in the game if you know it's coming. If we can set it to play here. And if you know that's coming, it's going to be free all day to punish that, right? All day. Now, what will happen generally is if you do land this parry, the Darius is going to start mixing up their options. They probably just won't do the follow-up, and then if they don't do the follow-up, you're going to whiff a parry, lose the super meter. If they're ready for it, they can either punish if they're close enough, or they can use an assist to pick up the punish and then handshake tag in from there. So you don't want to do it every single time unless you know they're doing the S2 follow-up every single time. Again, you're always going to want to be trying to study the habits of your opponent and react accordingly. But Darius also does have the special one, Apprehend, with 3 different follow-ups. So I wanted to cover those as well, because one of those is parryable, the others are not, and you're going to want to kind of get used to their patterns here. So example 1 is if they go into the light, that is parryable. There is enough of a gap here to punish this, okay? If they go for the second option, which is the medium, I'll just let it rock here so you see what it looks like. That swing, there's no gap in this pressure. So I'm mashing parry there, and I get nothing, right? So if it's the light or medium, you can basically mash parry out of that, and you'll either hit them with the parry or nothing's going to come out, and you'll just block the follow-up. The issue that you could run into is if you're just doing this mindlessly, is they can do the third follow-up. And honestly, this is probably the most common follow-up you're going to see from a Darius out of their S1, and that's going to be the command grab. And if you try to parry that, well, you can parry the first hit too. So if you know that's coming, that's also a possibility. But if you know the command grab's coming and you try to parry it, you're just going to get beat up and lose your meter. So the option to beat this is actually just holding up. That's going to be the answer for a lot of times. If you know a throw is coming, you're going to want to just jump out of it, because that's basically the only way you're going to force it to whiff. It's the same way with a Blitzcrank command grab. Same with his ultimate as well. If you know a command grab is coming, you're just going to want a neutral jump so you can land with a button and punish. And that's kind of a classic rock, paper, scissors situation you're going to be running into Darius. And there's a few different characters that are going to be able to do similar specials with a follow-up that you can react to a parry with. For example, if an Ekko does the S2 into S2, which I can at least show you what the move will look like without setting up the recording. If they go for this option, you can parry that second follow-up. If a Blitzcrank goes for Rocket Punch into Rocket Grab, both of those are parryable. So if you don't react to the first one, you can for the second and get that as well. So definitely, there's going to be a lot of these situations where there's a gap in between. You know that special move as a follow-up. You watch for it. You can go for that parry and get a punish. All right, and as you can see, a common one that's going to come up as well, and like I just mentioned, is going to be the Blitzcrank Rocket Grab. Definitely can feel very oppressive if you're not sure how to deal with command grab characters. He pulls you in, puts you in a mix-up situation where you kind of have to guess of whether you're going to challenge it with the button or try to jump out of the command grab. Now, if they're going for this over and over mid-screen, you can just react to the Rocket Grab with a parry, go for a full punish. You can also go for a parry on just the Rocket Grab itself if you're really locked in. You can totally do that as well. Or if you know it's coming, you can jump. These are all valid options. You're just going to want to make sure you're reacting to it properly. And if they go for this option when you're like mid-screen or so, you can just retreat and guard the Rocket Punch, and then you'll be out of the range of the follow-up. See what I'm saying? So definitely a few different routes you can go here. Personally, I like to go for parry a lot of the time because a lot of players will make it pretty predictable. And it's a fun little punish. Parries are just kind of fun to land. So definitely something to keep in mind. Now, what happens is if they go for the Rocket Grab, you do end up blocking it, let's say. They're going to want to go for command grab a lot of the time, right? So you have two main options you can use to get out of the command grab. Backdash, like you saw here, and just backdash immediately. Or you can go for jump. And jump is going to be, if you actually just hold up, going to be a little more reliable. And you saw I even whiffed a button there, and I still had time to punish. And if the Blitzcrank does decide to go for a button follow-up after, you really only have a couple options. You can, if you're super, super tight with the timing, I think you can interrupt every once in a while. It's very inconsistent when I try to go for it in training mode. You really need to get it just the right timing. I don't think it's that reliable. I'm not even sure if I can get it just in this recording. I have gotten it a couple times. But really, your best bet, if you know the button's coming, you can go for a parry. That is a possibility. Or if you have an invulnerable super, you can do that. Or you can just kind of hold the block string if you think that's coming, right? So there is options to deal with it, but basically your hard call out's going to be the parry. If you want to play it a little safer, you just block it, but then obviously you're running the risk of getting command grabs. So it's going to come down to jumping or backdashing if you think the command grab's coming, or a parry, or a reversal super or something like that if you think a button is coming. All right, here we have one from Rossum on Twitter, and he did ask about the Darius thing. We already covered that, but the main focus is asking about Yasuo versus looking at the swipe through versus the side switch without an attack. And I have those both set up here so you can kind of see what both look like. I'm sure this is going to be something you run into a ton going up against Yasuo, so definitely good to get an idea of what these look like. There's a side switch with no attack, and if we do the dash through option, it'll look like this. Right? And if you're holding back, you're going to get crossed up by that because it is a cross-up attack. So the main thing you're going to want to look through here is it's going to be very tough to look for. But if you're really looking out for it, you're going to notice when Yasuo does the dash through, he doesn't go into his normal stance. He just continues to lean forward. If you are super locked in, you can react to the parry here, or react to it with a parry. And the nice thing is because parry covers both sides, it's just mid and high if you do a high parry and just low if you do a low parry. You will end up parrying even though he crosses sides here. So definitely useful to know. And you basically want to assume that's coming. Watch out for that. And then reset in your mind if you notice he goes into the actual stance. Because if he goes into the stance, he has to go back into... he has to sheath the sword and do all that before he's going to dash through. So that's going to be the main thing to telegraph it. If you're really locked in, you can challenge it. And even with the side switch dash, you can just press some buttons and you'll end up punching them because obviously there's no attack there. So you can call it out one way or the other. Buttons one way, parry on the other. It's going to take some practice. I'd recommend setting up these recordings in training mode so you can do something like this. No promises that I can even reliably do this in this video. I'll kind of demo what I'm talking about. It should just kind of do this randomly. So yeah, I wasn't ready for it on that one. Let's see if I can get another one. So that was side switch, yep. Nope, nothing there. I actually tried to parry. There we go. That time I did spot it. Let's see if I can do it one more time. Yep. So you can see him lean forward a little bit, and that's going to be the tell. So just going to take a lot of practice in that situation. Yasuo is just a really gross character right now. Not in a bad way necessarily, but he's just super, super strong. So don't feel bad if you're getting hit by that. But if you were looking for the counterplay of that situation, that's what you're going to want to do. All right, so we have one from Quinby here asking about how to deal with Ekko abusing the jump back time winder, especially if there's an assist covering on the ground. I'll show an example here, what it looks like. Right, I'm sure you deal with this a lot. You do have a couple different options here. Since the time winder comes at a very specific angle, you kind of have to know it's coming. And if you do, you can parry it. Obviously, you still would have to deal with the assist. You might be able to interrupt the assist like this, depending on which assist is being used. Another option I like to go for is if I know it's coming, I'll try to jump through and parry it or attack that way and land some damage in that way. But honestly, if Ekko's doing this, you probably can just block it. And then, yeah, you do have to deal with the assist, but you could push block. But you're not always going to get clipped by it. Don't feel the need to constantly challenge it. They could tag in their assist to try to make it safe. So there are some layers here. But if you know you're right under it, you know you have the proper angle for it, you can definitely parry. Or if you, like I said, want to go challenge him in the air, you totally can do that as well. It's going to be harder to get a full combo off that, but it is challengeable up there. I just recommend not going full steam ahead and trying to challenge it 24/7. If an Ekko is staying far away and just throwing Time Winder, that means he's not in your face mixing you, so it's kind of a win on your front. You just need to find when they get tired of that. Or if, like I said, you want to go for a super tight parry based on the positioning, you can do that. It's definitely going to be on the harder side, but there is ways to deal with that. So I think let's do one more here, and we'll probably call it for today's video. All right, here we have one from Guards, and they're asking how to deal with jump-ins. And that's definitely something in lower level matches I've seen, whether it be in lobbies or people asking for tips on their gameplay. A big thing you're going to be seeing is jump-ins getting a lot of work for the opponent, right? Get that jump-in, they go to full combo, and that can feel like a nightmare to deal with. You try to challenge with maybe some lights, some heavies, and it feels like there's nothing you can really do, right? All these buttons are getting beat. If I just do like regular heavy 2, can maybe get it if I'm super proper timing, but if I'm a little late, I'm going to get beat up, right? But again, this is why we have the anti-air button. The anti-air button is going to give you an anti-air property, so you don't have to worry about the attack coming in. Now, the opponent can block this generally, and that frame data is going to vary, but you're not going to be punishable for it if they do end up blocking it. And the nice thing you get is, watch how late I can do this, and it's still going to go through their attack, and I'm going to get a full combo off it. So you definitely want to keep an eye out for this. I would recommend, while you're implementing this game plan, literally just run some games where literally all you do is just kind of dash back and forth to neutral, maybe walk back and forth, and just watch for their jump and just try to punish those jump ins. A lot of players are going to catch on after a few, and you're going to have to adapt to your game plan accordingly, but you're going to get a ton of value out of going for these anti-airs. I promise you. Keep an eye out for it. You are going to get big damage, and you are going to win a ton of matches, especially early on at lower ranks. It's going to carry you super hard. So keep that in mind. Give that a try. And of course, as always, if you make it this far into the video, I super appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to try to make more content like this to help you level up your gameplay, especially now that we have ranked. I want to help you guys all climb and be the best players you can and avoid any frustration. And if I'm not making videos on certain situations you're looking for, there's going to be other creators who do. And also, don't be afraid to hop into training mode and use these recording slots, recreate those moments that you are dealing with and struggling with, and try a bunch of different things to get an answer for it. Worst case, you do a process of elimination, and you know what stuff doesn't work, and then you can go ask someone else, whether you want to hop in my chat, tweet at me, ask more top players, hop in their streams and see what they think what to deal with. Definitely go for that and give it a attempt yourself, because one of the most valuable parts of fighting games is being able to dissect when things go wrong, learn and adapt, and immediately see those improvements in your gameplay. It's not like a shooter where it's just like, oh, I need to aim better, and then you just have to grind aim labs or something for a while to hopefully get more kills a little more quickly. No, now you have a certain situation, you know the answer for it in that situation in the future, now you can beat it. So it's definitely really rewarding. It's going to be the major addictive loop for a lot of players in fighting games. It's just that constant loop of playing a match, finding something you don't know how to solve, bringing it to training mode, get that answer, and it's going to feel great when you finally land that solution in a match. So get out there, grind, try to implement this stuff in your game plan, and hopefully you guys are climbing. Make sure you post in the comments where you end up placing and how far you can climb to, and let me know if this helps. If you have any tips for anything you'd like to see different in these types of videos moving forward, definitely let me know as well. And obviously, if you want to share this to any new players that you know, that would go a long way for me as well. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.